All right. This is the beginning of week 2 for the Winter Rental Kart League at Carolina Motorsports Park. I did not have my camera set up and my helmet and all of that for week 1. So, fortunately for you don't have to sit through that. But anyway, this is my second week doing this. Last week, showed up, found out about this a week or 2 weeks before it actually happened. But anyway, I'll get into that in a second. Right now, this is the practice lap before the race starts. As you can see, my helmet placement or my camera placement on my helmet is a little bit lower than I would like. I will have that fixed for next week. I had to get a different mount. But anyway, here we are. Luckily, I guess, we drew straws and I start on pole position to lead everyone. It's a little bit stressful because, again, this is only my second week here. But, you know, I feel pretty confident in it. There to my right is Aaron, who has done this for a few leagues now and did a 90-minute endurance race a couple of months back. He is the front runner in our weight class, and you'll see a lot of him in the videos coming up. He ran a sim racing business down at the beach. He's got a lot of seat time as far as simulators, and you know, I think this might be the only karting he's done, but you'll see he certainly knows what he's doing. But all right, we're coming around for the green. I get a good start. I see no one's beside me, nobody's coming up. Of course, the camera angle isn't perfect, but again, we're working on that. All right, this first turn. These karts are all very different. Some won't turn right, some won't turn left. Some turn great, but have very slow speed on the straights. But we're going along now. This turn is very tough. I've spun out on this one a few times last week. We're in what I believe they call the S's here, possibly. Let's see. All right, so you can't see this, but I'm leading everyone by a good bit. Uh-oh, here we go. Look at the difference, the distance I had on everyone. I had just held on to it, as you will see with my speed coming up. And there is some language there I apologize for. More coming. Yep, I'm upset. Because I know I had it. I knew I had it. I felt good. At this point, though, when you see everyone so far ahead, you kind of wonder, do I even keep going? But, you know, somebody may wreck, or you may find your line, or whatever. But somehow, after that one spin, you'll see that I actually had some good speed. And I started catching everyone. But which makes me think, had I just held on to my lead, you know, I may have won this thing. Maybe, who knows? Being in that front, and I started catching everyone. But which makes me think, had I just held on to my lead, you know, I may have won this thing. Maybe, who knows? Being in that front position and being chased, it's pretty stressful, and it can cause a lot of us. Here's that same turn. All right, did not spin there, but it can cause some of us to make mistakes knowing we're being chased and wanting to make sure we're going as fast as absolutely as fast as possible. But anyway, I didn't really have to worry about that too much because you see I'm in the chasing position. Anyway, started last week. I ended up finishing second in my weight class. I am in the heavy class, which is a difference, big difference from where I used to be when I raced karts growing up. I was always one of the lighter guys. We had to add weight to karts to get to where we needed to be just to make the class. So it's very different, a little tough pill to swallow as I've gotten older. But anyway, I believe this is a fellow member of my class. Yes, it is. Right there in front of me. I believe that is John. I'm able to get him here, and you see I'm catching the whole pack, even the very front runners. Well, there may be somebody way up there that I don't see, but yeah, there is. There is one kart on this track. We've seen it the last 2 weeks that seemed to be a bit faster than the others. I don't know if that's the kart on up there, but certainly I want it. Okay, so I was able to get the other person in my weight class there. So here we go. Now I think this person ahead may be in the light division, but I am coming around. Hopefully going to catch him. I'm not sure. I can't really remember if I do, but I think I do get him. But anyway, last week, again, first time out here, very new to the track. A couple of guys had been here before. They had been doing a few leagues, or practicing or whatever else. But yeah, there had been some that had done leagues before. And I've got to say, I finished, I spun out at least 2 times, I believe. I know in 2 of the 3 races last week, maybe in all of the races. And there is some footage of some of that. There was 1 or 2 times where I jumped the lead, but I did not have enough room to take the corner the way I needed to, and the kart just did not want to turn, so I spun out on those. But anyway, this kart that I'm driving now, I'm not going to tell you the number on the kart, but I did get it later on, and as you can see, I did learn to sort of drive it. When you turn the wheels on this kart, it did not turn. I had to turn in every corner by slamming on the brakes or by acceleration or a combination of those two. Now it did have decent speed on the straightaways, so I guess it tried to make up for it that way. And you'll see, I mean, these karts are hitting 50 miles an hour on the long straight. It seems like they're cut off at that number because we don't ever get over that, I don't think. Last week I know I hit 51 according to my GPS, but that GPS, who knows. But you can't really appreciate the speed and how much we're actually working turning here, but it's quite a workout for I don't know if I say middle-aged man or what I call myself at this point. But anyway, you can certainly tell you were doing it, that's for sure. I believe each of these races, the first 2 races are 8 minutes apiece, and then the last one is 12 minutes. But as you can see, I'm trying to keep my racing line, but also having to kind of muscle the kart into the corners. And it's a little bit tough. When your kart doesn't turn, it's hard to keep the same racing line. All right, so I was able to get him because of my competition up ahead. They got into it. So now I'm doing my best to catch this kart while fighting the steering, but just hoping really not to make any dumb mistakes. But it's hard when you know you're chasing that person. And that person, I believe, is Aaron, who's first in my weight class, the one we talked about earlier. He certainly knows. He knows the lines, and I mean, he's got it down pat. He's going the same place as long as the cart lets him. He's going the same place each and every time, each and every corner. He's racing his race. He's not worried about the person in front of him. All right, so as you see, I wasn't able to catch him, but I did catch up some, especially considering the way I spun out in front of everyone and really had a gap. But so at this point, I'm really just happy I didn't spin out again or go off the track, because that happened every race last week. But anyway, finished second in my weight class here. I can't say that I love losing or coming in second. I guess I should be happy with some improvement, but it is discouraging because I like to win. And when these carts, we switch carts each and every time, and you really just you don't know what you're going to get until you get on it. So you may learn exactly how to drive one cart and then get thrown on a different one that's the complete opposite. But anyway, we'll get back started on the next one coming up. All right, let's get started. Race 2, January 17th, 2026, Winter Karting League. If you notice there, I was having some issues with the brake and the throttle. This kart drove very different than the previous kart. You'll see me jamming the brakes there. So the brakes on this one feel like they don't work at all. They do work, they just don't work until you push them all the way down, and there seems to be like a little catch or something as you're pushing them. And it felt like my leg was barely long enough to get all the way to the brakes. So it's all of a sudden braking movements here. Certainly took some getting used to, but we are on the warm-up lap. So we drew straws in the beginnings showing where we would start on the first race. Then they completely reverse it on the second, and then the third will be, I guess, the average of the two. So I started in first for my weight class earlier, so now I'll be starting fourth. We have the others behind us. But anyway, all right. Again, I'm starting. That's Aaron to my left. Talked about him a little while ago. Experienced driver, very good driver. You'll see he is right up on his cart, trying to get on mine while also give enough space so I can hit the gas by timing it right and kind of get that whole shot. So there we go. Let's see how we do here. All right, make a little hole there, threading the needle. I've got the inside line. Once again, I'm now in first, starting from fourth place. So if anything, I can say I am going to try for that pole spot from the very beginning. And I have different reasons for doing this. Some people think, oh, well, you likely can't win the race in the very first turn, which is probably true. However, I also know that as the weeks go on and the competition gets better and better, which I hope I am improving, I can tell I'm improving. Oh, wait a second, here's my special turn, just like last time. Oh my God, I have spun out again. Luckily, there's been some issues. I say luckily, there's an issue back there where the parts got into it. So now, what do you know? Here I am behind Aaron one more time. And as you will see, he is not an easy person to get around because, like I said, He knows what he's doing. He's got his line, and he's racing his race. But anyway, as far as trying to get out in front, some people think, no, just wait. The race will come to you. You will have time to pass, overtake. I just ran off the track back then. Didn't lose too much ground by doing so. But anyway, I also know that there can be racing incidents that happen with the other karts, and hopefully, if I'm in front, those happen behind me. So that can make a bit of a gap. So if I do have some sort of issue, it's that much further before they can get to me. I also know if somehow I find a way to race a perfect race and don't screw up, then there's a chance no one else can get around me, and so I will be in that first position. So I'm going to go for that first spot from the start, unless it's very questionable and I should not be going for it, or I'm putting someone else at risk. I'm not going to do it. Now, I found out later, I believe it was this race, from that incident that happened back behind me with these karts, and I think there were several karts involved. People got bruised up. They crashed pretty good. So I luckily was not a part of that. I was up there by myself until I screwed it up for myself, just like last time, in the same corner, which is strange because it only happened on the very first lap on both of these. The rest of the race, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to. I do not spin out again in that corner. Now, I can tell you one thing that helped me with this corner, because before it really was chance. I may have spun out again, but what helped me is following this young man right here in front of me, seeing how he took the corner and realizing, okay, I need to slow down a lot sooner than I had been, and that really did help. As far as, screwing up anyway. All right, as you can see, I am catching him. And this kart, the brakes, like I said, are absolutely terrible. It handles a little better in the turns. I want to say the acceleration isn't quite where the other one was. On the straights, same top speed if once you finally get to it, but so this one turns maybe a little better. It just has terrible brakes. So anyway, it takes a few laps to kind of learn it, but as you can see, we did pretty good. I think there may be a couple of passes here, which we will get into and compare to last week. All right, so I'm here on the straight. All right, there we go. I am passing Aaron, the leader of our weight division, but look where I took this corner. I had to go way to the inside because I could not get around him until late on the straight, so I didn't have time to get in my line. Aaron knew this. Aaron knows this. He knows to race his race. Look at that. See, I could have made a crazy choice, but what that really was my brakes, and almost running into him because I could not stop quite fast enough. But anyway, he knew if he held his line that I was going to have to stay low, and then my braking and everything would be off, and he could overtake me probably right then, just like he did, and it worked. I really did not have a different choice there other than to just completely back off, which I don't usually do, for better or worse. All right, now that is that fast kart that we talked about earlier. And you see, it just got me. I'm pretty confident that it gets Aaron as well. And I want to say this is Jordan driving that kart. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But if it's who I think it is, he is in the light division. And he hasn't done this very much either. I think he said he's come out to the track for something else in the past, and did some indoor karting like at K1. But, you know, this last week was really his first time doing a league here too. So he's certainly been improving like we all have. But anyway, we'll just sit here and wait. And this is one of those things where I'm trying to let them take care of themselves and, you know, provide me with an opportunity. All right. That's a little bit of jumping that I do that may or may not help. I think it does. Sometimes it helps you get a little, your wheels freed up a little bit. But anyway, all right, so you got Aaron. Now I'm trying to get Aaron, and this is Aaron's famous corner. Here comes Aaron. There he is. Last week, I passed Aaron, I know, on 2 different occasions, and when I did, he was able to get me in that corner because I was in a position, just like before, where I had to be lower in the track, on my brakes, different than I wanted to be, not on my line, and he knows it. He knows if he puts himself in the right position, when I'm out of position, he's going to get me. And he does. And I say it's his corner because, you know, he's got it perfected. He got me twice there last week. He did a double overtake last week. It's on his YouTube channel. So here we go. But as you see, and again, that was some late braking, some lack of braking on my part, but I was able to run up a little bit closer. I am catching him once again. But catching him and passing him are 2 different things. But I'm there. I don't know if he knows I'm there because he does. I never see him really look behind him. He's not really worried about anybody else. He's driving his race. But I am there. I want him to know I'm there. If for no other reason, just to know, hey, I haven't spun out again. Getting a little bit better, and hopefully we can have some good races coming up. Now, I'm getting a little frustrated because I know it's the end. Oh, well, I thought it was getting close to the end of the race, but it's the end of the race. I could not get him, but I'm like, hey, look over here at me. I was close to you. Did you see me? But still, he's ice cold handling his stuff. So we have one more of these. The next one is a 12-minute race. So we'll see how that goes. By the way, it was freezing cold today. I've got on a sweatshirt, a jacket, gloves, a couple pairs of socks, and the first race was very cold. Starting to warm up now, but that's why we've got on all this. Also at the track, they were having some open wheel formula cars. I forget the exact league or what it actually was. I think it's USF 2000 or something like that. But I think it was more of a training and practice. But really cool to see and hear. But let's get ready for the next one. All right, race 3, Carolina Motorsports Park, Winter Karting League, January 17th, 2026. This is our warm-up lap. Thanks for hanging in there. I know it can probably be pretty boring. I know when I watch others, it can certainly be boring, but I've got a reason for doing this. I'm trying to get better. Trying to remember exactly what happened each time. So while I appreciate you watching, these videos are more for me, so I can go back, and for anybody else I may have footage of so they can go check out themselves. and see how they were doing. All right, I am back on that kart. I started with the one that does not turn without the help of the brakes or the gas, but I felt somewhat confident that I knew how to drive it because I was catching up on the first race. So let's see how we do. We are with our rolling start. I wish these cars looked a little bit better for the videos, if nothing else. But these are true rental karts that have been beaten to heck and back. We've got the green. You see I've gotten a little space there. I'm coming around on the inside. Aaron, I'm not able to get that other kart. He got a good shot. But I got in a good position there, so I was not going to spin out. But you'll see, I feel confident I'm going to be able to get him soon. I've just got to drive my race, not screw up, and give it some time. Also, I think this is the first time this driver's done the league. I believe he started today, actually. He had been here before when they had different karts, but he's doing great so far. But I was hoping, the fact that he was somewhat new, at least now. Oh, look, there's light division. There's that fast kart. I've got to get on that one at least once, hopefully next week. I have not driven it yet, but that's Ralph. And Ralph has the fastest time on the track. Ralph has a good bit of experience. He also does simulators as well, but I'm following him thinking, hey, let me see what I can learn from him. So, and as you saw, I was able to get that other position. Now, I want to say, which you couldn't tell, but he raced right along beside me, even on the outside for a little while. So he wasn't backing down by any means, which is awesome. And it makes it more fun, and it makes us all better. But here I am, chasing Ralph, and he's just steady pulling away from me. But you see, the best thing about this whole race is I didn't spin out on that first lap. So to me, that's a win. But I'm having decent times here. I think I set my fastest time in this race, which was a 65.83 something, I believe. So I believe Ralph had a 64 something on this race in that kart, and I think his other one was a 65.3 if I'm not mistaken, but he's fast regardless of the kart he's on. Now I feel like I'm going to have a visitor here pretty soon. I know it's going to happen at some point. I'm just not sure. And I'm looking. Oh, there we go. All right. Guess who? It's Aaron. He's found a way to get around me. I'm not sure. Honestly, I'd have to go back now and look to see what I did. I'm sure I must have screwed up in the corner, and he took advantage of it. Because overall, you'll see I stay with him, just like the previous race. Or races, maybe. But unlike me, Aaron doesn't really make those mistakes. He stays as cool as a cucumber. And I really need to go back and look to see what I did that opened up that door for him. But this is the kart. I'm sure it had to do with the kart not turning, and I probably drifted some, and the cart started binding up. I'm guessing in that corner. This is the corner where it happened, or it set it up anyway. But it is nice to have him in front of me, so he keeps me taking that corner at the speed I'm supposed to instead of getting carried away. But I'm also thinking, I'm hoping I can get him on the straightaway, because I did on that other race. If I can just set up my entry on that last turn and the exit, or set up the entry so I can get a fast exit. That's what I'm trying. But again, I hate to spoil anything, but I'm not so sure that's going to happen. So I could probably, turn this video off for everybody but maybe Aaron, and if somebody else passes me. But I'm going to keep it going so they can see themselves, and I can possibly look to see what I did. But again, it's difficult to assess much, because so much depends on the cart you're driving. And if the cart doesn't turn right, or doesn't turn left, or doesn't turn either way, and you're having to use the brakes and the accelerator more than you should, it's hard to really determine what you could have done better, or what you can do the next time out, because the next cart is likely going to drive completely different. And it would be different if it's your cart and you can set it up the way you want. You can make any adjustments. We can't make any adjustments on these carts. You have to get on it, and if it had, the side panel hanging off, if they told you that's how you had to drive it, that's what you've got to do. Some of these you get on and the steering wheel feels like it's mounted crooked, like the steering shaft is bent, or God knows what. Doesn't matter. That's what we've got. Those are the cards we are dealt. But anyway, last week in each of the races, I passed people, then I got passed. Aaron in front of me, he passed me, and for maybe a lap or so, I hung with him, but he continued pulling off from me. I guess I'm proud this week that didn't happen. I was able to stay with him. But the guy doesn't really screw up, so I feel like if I get stuck behind him, I don't know if I'm ever going to get around him, because I don't this time. I'm right there, but I can't get around him, because I don't have some kind of super souped up cart, and he's not making mistakes. So here we are doing the dance, but it's a dance he leads the entire time. You may be wondering where I got those fancy orange shoes. I'm not going to tell you, but I can tell you if you just look at them. You could get some too. I wore those last week. I mainly wear them because they are waterproof, supposedly, and it was supposed to rain today, so I thought I might as well have them. But there's some old cloud shoes that are waterproof, that are orange. Nothing fancy. And I'm wearing some nice firm grip Harbor Freight gloves. Shout out to Harbor Freight. Well, I say that, I could be wrong. Those may be from Lowe's. I did have some Harbor Freight gloves in the car, but I think I switched out, so I don't know who makes these lovely gloves. But they are not racing gloves, they are just utility gloves. Anyway, there's the turn. Screwed me up before twice. Still not spinning out, so happy about that. Not happy with my position, because I want to win. I want to win a race. We all want to win. But I also know if I've got a shot at at winning somehow this 4-week series, that I've got to have some race wins. I need to go ahead and get one now, because if not, let's say next week is the 3rd week. We've got two more weeks after this. If I were to win every single race from here on out after today, I think at best that would tie me for first place. And I'm not sure how they decide that at that point. I know it's very unlikely I will win every race moving forward. So by not winning any today, I think I've kind of screwed myself up there. But anyway, I guess first time out, I should be happy. But I'm not very satisfied. I guess if I came out here winning immediately, it would lose some of it. Maybe, but I don't mind that either. I'd rather give that a shot and see if I was okay with it or not. But it is good to have great competition. We've got that here. Even with, the small amount of racers for this league, I guess they were the cold or other things going on. I'm told that the summer and the fall leagues, they've got a lot more racers that participate in those. So as it stands now, I see myself coming to those as well. So we'll see. If I don't screw up and get crazy and buy my own cart, because it's easy to get addicted to this stuff. I feel like we should be coming up, getting close. Okay, we have one more lap. I decided to give him a thumbs up for whatever reason. All right. So if I was going to pass Aaron, that's probably where it needed to be, at the beginning of that straightaway. So it didn't happen. The only thing I could hope for now is he misses line or screw up some kind of way, and I'm there to take advantage of it. But I know that's probably not going to happen. So he did get a little bit of dirt there, but not enough to slow him down. But I'm right there. Not sure if he even knows I'm around or if he thinks I'm miles behind him like last week, but hopefully, at least if he sees this video, he will know that I was there, at least challenging a little bit. That's when he's going to tell us he probably was just only pressing the throttle halfway. Hopefully that's not the case. But anyway, that is the end of the final race. Finished second overall in the division this week as well. Didn't wreck any this entire race, which I think is a first. No spin outs, no off the tracks, none of that. So I should be happy. That's improvement. So we will just have to see what next week brings. And hopefully I can get on a different cart. I was on the same 2 carts this time. This one for the first and third race. Hopefully I don't get on this cart next week. I'm a little bit tired of it, but whatever. If I am, I am. At least I know what to expect, assuming they don't make any changes. All right, that's week 2.